You know the thing, you know the vibes. We pour. Hey, forget it.
People, deluded, I'm back again.
Come on, Ian, bro. Come on. With an introduction like that, after seeing what we saw last night, people, deluded, I'm back again. I hope you're all doing well and safe, whether you're on YouTube. Smash the like button on entry, Twitch or Twitter. Make sure you're cross-following on all the platforms. Links are in the descriptions. Don't be lazy, people. All you got to do is hit the descriptions. Please don't be lazy, YouTube gang. Hit the like button until we make the algorithm bless us. We cannot get to 70,000 subscribers. Now, what did you lot do last night? I didn't do much. I didn't get up to much. I watched the Champions League. You're seeing Mikel Arteta deal with the business and us winning in dramatic fashion on penalties. I do think, and again, tactical video coming out at 3:30. I have to give credit to Porto because over, 90 minutes times 280 minutes plus added on time. They did kind of stifle us creating chances. They did, the ref was on a madness, but, they set up defensively in the mid and low block. They frustrated us. They limited our shots. They limited one of the best performing attacking sides. That being said, we found the way. We're through. We came back from behind of the first leg. We won on penalty. Shout out to David Raya, the man of the moment, and all the players that had the bollocks to take the penalties. And shout out to everyone who stood up to be counted, because I always say the Champions League, yeah, it's about tactics and all of that jazz, but it's about character. It's about moments. It's about making the difference. I have to say it, and I'm going to say it again. I don't know why Martin Odegaard's goal was disallowed. I don't know. Careful. They don't say Martin Odegaard, better yet, Wondergaard, the class region. They say he doesn't turn up in big games. People are saying we should have signed Buendia over him. Allow it, man. He's an absolute quality player. I have to big up Kirill as well. We think he stood up to be counted. And obviously Trossard scored. Be honest, who wanted him subbed at half-time? Again, this will be in the tactical analysis, but I actually think Trossard did well pulling into the left-back area when we was defending and Kirill was becoming a third kind of centre-back. So, yeah, man, we did what we needed to do. Big up Kai Havertz for rattling Porto and obviously scoring his pen. Saka was quiet, but when we needed him to take one from the spot, obviously since England international duty many years ago, we're quite nervous when Saka takes a pen. Why? I don't know. And yeah, man, I heard their manager said, oh, they came to play football, we came to win. Last time I checked, you're in the bin, you're out, man. Best of luck. Have the best of tours you can. And Porto fans, I can't say that all of them because it was a great spectacle. It's the Champions League and things. It's difficult coming to the Emirates, as you saw with Porto. You've seen it with Liverpool, you've seen it with City, you've seen it with Man United. It's different over here, people. So, yeah, man, it's nice that we're through. Obviously, we ain't been to the next round of this competition since 09-010. So it's uncharted waters for Mikel Arteta and the majority of the players. Let's just keep going, man. We're into the last 8. Do I think Arsenal are going to win it? No. Would I love to be proven wrong? 100%. What did you lot make of the game, individual performances? What do you make of the next rounds? Because, the Real Madrids, the Inters, the Cities, all of these teams are lurking, people. It's difficult. Throughout the course of this vid, we're going to see what Mikel Arteta had to say. Apparently, he's insulted the Porto manager's family. Will get into that. Let me know your thoughts. I mean, he said Thomas Tuchel did the same thing. So I think he's a liar, really and truly. And your son's a pussy, if I'm honest with you, because boy, I know if somebody dissed my family and my dad was there, whether I get beaten up or not, I'm doing crud, really and truly. Really, you make Phil Foden look like a Spartan, really. Apparently, Phil Foden was at the game. It was a dreadful game, to be fair. Big up Inner Circle. In terms of entertainment and free-flowing football, 100%, it was a bit of a stalemate. And obviously, us fans going into the game, we're a goal down. We've started fast. We've put teams to bed home and away recently very fast. So I understand fans, if you were a bit frustrated, you wanted to see free-flowing football. I believe the same. But it is difficult. I do think it was a mental test because if you go gun-ho early and you start to get complacent because you think it can be done, they get an opportunity and put it in the back of the net, you're in trouble. So I do think for large moments of the game, it's kind of like stick or twist, kind of pick our moments. On another day, though, especially the first half, I would like to see a goalkeeper tested, really and truly. I don't think we tested Costa enough, really. And Mikel Arteta loves a goalkeeper. I feel watching the game again, Raya's doing his thing and he's the man of the moment. But the way the Porto keeper was playing in terms of his distribution, he might have aroused Mikel Arteta's imagination. Porto manager said this about Tuchel in the past, by the way, 100%, man. He should have told him to suck that, if I'm honest with you, man. Like, it's all this about. Because when you was talking crud, we didn't say anything. I do believe you need to be gracious in victory and defeat. I do think, obviously, you need to have respect for your teammates and stuff. But Porto were trying to rattle us. They were trying to fight us. They even tried to fight us after the game. The only player that I have respect for from Porto, respectfully, is the experienced Pepe. I think he went out like a Spartan. And I think collectively, Porto were good in that regards. We ain't going to bop every team we face. People think these teams are like Burnley. Amen. Porto Manager also said the same thing about Pep. I don't know if he said it about Pep, but I did see on Twitter he said it about Thomas Tuchel and Arteta. He's a liar, man. He might be telling the truth, but I never saw it. I'm backing my manager all the way. I didn't hear anything. Big up yourself, Harry. I'm glad we're through. Unfortunately, Saka couldn't get into the game, but happy. Yeah, Saka had a stinker, man. We got to be real. Saka had an absolute stinker, but when we needed him to stand up to be counted, he put the penalty away. Yeah, man, he definitely needs to start that. Everybody's abusing your family members, Tuchel, Pep, and Arteta, bro. How come you ain't done nothing about it then, really and truly? Why ain't you done something about it? And why is everybody saying this? You're a liar, man. Three managers can't have said it, man. And even if they did and they all deny it, I'm with them, really. How did Arteta insult Porto's manager family by winning? I don't know, man. He seemed rattled, really. Again, the tactical analysis video should come out at 3:30, people. I did kind of cover that. I covered everything, really and truly. So make sure your eyes and ears are open to that and turn on your notifications. We are in the quarterfinals, Brody. We need to take time. We need to relax a bit. I understand, the dream is free. The hustle is sold separately. When you see what Arsenal have been doing for the last 2 years, specifically this season, apparently I don't look at the league table, but we're top in the Premier League and we're through to the next round. Understand the exciting moments. We're building something special, and maybe in years to come, we can genuinely believe that we can pick the likes of City and Liverpool to a Prem, and obviously the Champions League go all the way. I think we're moving in the right direction, but we need to have respect. We need to be humble. We need to enjoy last night again and then move forward. Obviously, whether we win the tournament or not, I guess you could be cynical and said it counts for nothing. But at the same time, I'm not being funny. These are moments that it's all about being a football fan, really and truly, and definitely where the players are concerned. I say this all the time, but I don't know where I'm at now with game of the season, results of the season, really. Yeah, you can say in terms of goals and entertainment and just sheer dominance, the West Hams, the Burnleys, them teams that we've been hitting for cricket scores. Personally, for me, I would say Liverpool at the Emirates in the Prem. I would say City at the Emirates in the Prem. I'd say Man United for the dramatic circumstances in the Prem. I would say West Ham for me as well, because that was a complete performance. And I'd throw the Porto game into that, really and truly, just because it's nice to actually see us win a penalty shootout after the last European encounter with a Portuguese side at the Emirates. It's nice to just see the grit and will and determination. And is it the most cleanest of... It weren't bad, but was it the most cleanest of Arsenal performance? I don't think so. But it was so ugly. It was beautiful, really. Not going to lie, it's good seeing rival fans cry, man. Them man wanted us to fail badly. They'll have their day, but today is not their day. And, again, I know they're going to be after me because you lot won't see it and my phone's charging, but I've been on to Matisse in particular, man. Big up American Gunner, my CEO. Kind of feels like we have given Prem teams ways to stop our attacking prowess. Your thoughts? It's a good question, man. I would disagree slightly, man. I just feel naturally, it's like last season, really and truly. It's like you knew Zinchenko is inverting, Gabriel Jesus is doing certain things, Saka and Martinelli are doing certain things, Odegaard's doing certain things, and we've played 28 games. If you're doing your homework, you're going to find a way to mitigate against that, really and truly. And this is why we're still doing a lot of things that we did last year, but Arteta's finding new layers, and he's going to have to keep doing that. He's not the first manager or the last, really. And again, it's Premier League football, so I guess that is right to a degree, but I somewhat disagree. Odegaard made his Champions League debut at 15, fully fulfilled wonder kid, man. What a guy, man. Like, as I always say, I've been wrong about a lot of players, Kiwior is convincing me. You lot don't let me breathe with Trossard, even though I said he's the best finisher at the club. And I know a lot of you wanted him subbed. Kai Havertz, it was more of a thing where I wasn't against Havertz, but I was trusting Mikel Arteta versus the player. He's doing his thing. But I was right about Pepe. I was right about Lacazette. And specific to our captain, I was right about Martin Odegaard. You lot can now see what some of us fans, when he joined initially on loan, and it was a tough 6 months. Our team was crap. We was in a different sort of space, really. But you could see Martin Odegaard, especially for Arsenal fans, since Wenger's come in. Well, since Wenger came in, those that, old enough to remember pre-Wenger, better yet. Odegaard's an Arsenal player. The man's wonderful, and he's relishing responsibility and things. And as I said, it was lovely to get the assist. He had a great performance. Obviously, forgive me if I'm wrong, but he took a penny. I swear he took a pen. I swear him, Saka, and Havertz took pens. So that's a captain mentality, and he should have had a goal. People say Odegaard don't step up in big games, and there might be some truth to that. But yesterday he did, man. So big up the players, man. Same thing happened with Canelo in boxing. Someone says MF, and because of the language barrier, they think it's an insult to someone's mum. Man, he's just trying to overshadow it, man. Kyrgios's best game for me, comfortable on the ball. don't quite agree with that, but tried some forward passes and was reliable defensively, even though there were 1 or 2 times he got beat 1v1. And I think Trossard helped him out in that regards. But Kyrgios looking a lot, as I said, pick him up. He's looking a lot more comfortable in the team. He's looking a lot more comfortable in what his role is. And for me, it's always been more than anything a mental thing with Kyrgios. I don't know him as a man, let alone, as a footballer, because I don't see what Arteta sees week in, week out. But it looked like the penny hadn't dropped for him in that, there's Declan Rice, there's Bukayo Saka, there's all these stars that I play with on FIFA. I'm just a guy from the Italian league in humble beginnings. Now it looks like he genuinely believes, listen, hold on, I played for Poland at international level. I've got something to bring to this team. So long may it continue, really and truly. The more players step up, the better squad we've got, man, really. If I'm completely honest with you. This Porto mooch also complained about Klopp and Pep insulted his family. I hope he did insult them about their smoking cigar after the first leg and dancing around. I'm not going to lie. I do think that cigar thing was from a previous year, but run the agenda. Are we even sure what the exact comment he alleged made? Was it about his son in the game? And then some quote said it was about a passing family member. I don't know. But if it's about a passing family member, I don't think Arteta's like that. So, yeah. Honestly, positive that we won on pens, since now we know that Raya can save pens, face 5 pens this season and save 3. On another day, that would have been 4. And I like Raya's mentality. I'm not saying anything about Ramsdale, and maybe it's just the right thing to say, but one of the first things Raya come out and said is I should have saved 3 of those. So that, that is something I've seen on occasion when Jorginho said things post-game, Raya, Odegaard. It's like, we're happy with what we're doing, Saka as well, but we want more, and that should be the ambition. Even Mikel Arteta says it. It's been said a number of times, even when we beat Brentford, not every game is going to be 5s and 6s and stuff like that, but when you look past the euphoria, there were many actions and things that we could have done a lot better. And that's what we need to do. We need to chase the illusion of perfection. You're never going to be perfect. Even if Mikel Arteta, whatever he wishes in this image of a football club, it's never going to be perfect. But if you're aspiring to be better every day and turn your good into great, then we should be all right. Nothing tastes better than victory with a glass of rival tears. Bring it on. I said as one of my targets, make the quarters. I said last 16, as I believe this team could make it there. AC the other season made it to the semis and they was bad in the league, not impossible. I mean, it's what the players make it. At the end of the day, League Cup's irrelevant. We're out. FA Cup doesn't matter. We're out. Premier League is in our hands, but out of our hands. It's very delicate. We know if we win our games and something happens, we're doing what needs to be done. We don't know what the Champions League is going to happen, but it's down to these players to create memories. If last night felt amazing, going through to the quarterfinals, imagine what it feels like to actually win something, to actually put your name individually and collectively as Arsenal, as history makers. Imagine being the first team at this football club to win a Champions League, first significant trophy during the Emirates era, and you could extend the same to the Premier League. That's what we got to do. And I hope we can. Football doesn't typically work like that, but I hope we can hold on to the core group of these players, take them from being young men to seasoned veterans, and really accomplish something, man. Like I'm not saying Mikel Arteta is the biggest and baddest, and he's the bee's knees, and I can't have a question mark over his name, etc., etc. But I genuinely struggle to believe that. Genuinely, if you look at Arsenal, you can criticize Arteta, but I genuinely believe that if you can look at this football club, specifically under Arteta, and you can't see how he's rebuilt it, you can't see what he's doing, you can't see reasons to be excited. Everybody's allowed their opinion, but I think you're acting, if I'm completely honest, man. Still can't believe there were people who didn't want Odegaard. Absolute bargain, bro. 30 million quid. Obviously, 30 million quid, if you showed me that right in front of me, that's a lot of money, and it is. But in this grand scheme of things, it's crazy, and it's about the right recruitment. Obviously, Kai Havertz, the jury's still out, but he's showing that he's a reliable member of the squad and he'll die for his teammates. When you see him getting into the argy-bargy yesterday, that's what Arteta meant when he said he'll go to war for him. Obviously, Saka was free, another bargain. William Saliba, I'm not going to lie, Saliba looked nervous yesterday on occasion, 30-odd million. Big Gabriel, similar sort of fee. If Raya can keep doing what he's doing, 20-odd million quid. Benjamin White, 50 million. Yes, that's expensive, but he's showing his quality and the rest goes on. So if we can find these players on the cheap and then occasionally the Declan Rices and these guys to take it to the next level, we're laughing, really. I remember seeing Kyrgios at left back in pre-season. I was impressed. Initially, when he came into the 11, he was shaky, but now he's playing really well. I think a big benefit of Kyrgios is I do think Arteta will revisit him doing the inverted role, but I just think because we're in amongst the season, and when he's come in, he looked good in there in pre-season, but when he's been asked to do them things this season, it's been a bit of a struggle. Just make him a traditional defender. And again, I'm not criticizing Kyrgios, but that's what a manager should be doing. Hide the weaknesses of your players and enhance the strengths. It's like John Terry. He couldn't play a high line. Jose and them, man, mitigate against it to get the best out of him. And that's what I mean. I think Kyrgios played well, and I think Trossard did very well. Not that Porto were attacking us and wave after wave, but there was a couple of occasions, again, tactical analysis video at 3:30. Check that out, people. But Kyrgios would kind of just stay as a centre half, and Trossard would tuck in almost like a fullback. The one time it didn't happen, Porto could have scored from it, people. Keep your thoughts coming. Odegaard crying on the floor, or tried, I'm not sure what you're saying here, Ben, or tried to skin him so good. Now you're joining Kai that love Kai shoved the manager. I love it as well that Kai Havertz shoved the manager. And I love the scenes after the game where I can't remember who was arguing, but Kai Havertz 100% wasn't involved and he was going over. And I must admit, for after the game with the handbags, guilty pleasure, I love to see that sort of stuff. I was thinking, right, if we could have just had Granit Xhaka for that, it would have been lit, man. That fake is a liar. Arteta didn't insult him. I don't know, man. And to be fair, whether Arteta insulted him or not, I'm not being funny. We're playing football. Again, I know there's kids watching, and in general, there's kids that watch football. But anyone that's played football, whether you're 10, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of age, all the way to about 50, last time I checked, football is a day and age of foul mouths, people. If swearing and insults and all of these things is an issue playing football, then people, quite frankly, need to pull their knickers up. And I'm saying that specifically to Porto. Slap the likes, people. 145 of you lot sitting here doing my gaffer dirty. American gun on my CEO. Get at him, man. Get at all of them. Then rival fans stayed up until midnight just for an Arsenal L and failed respectfully to United, Spurs and Chelsea fans. Worry about your own team. You, man, got your own problems to worry about. I understand it from United and Chelsea because they're big clubs and they did it, but I'll never in my life, even if Spurs won the league next season, I'll never in my life take anything Spurs fans have to say serious, man. It is what it is. Why is these pagans out here behaving like the game was a regular settings? That was a European knockout. It's the highest order of tactics and counter-attacks. It's chess, not checkers. Exactly. But that's what I mean. It is exactly that. But I do think when it comes to that, it's just about getting it over the line. It's just about capitalizing on moments. I don't think these kind of games are going to be crazy entertaining, really and truly. So, yeah, man, it is what it is. What do you think about the new defensive unit as well, the Great Wall of Arsenal? They say defense wins titles. How could I not be happy with it? I do think, and I would like to see at least one more defensive body introduced, because I feel when everybody's fit, respectfully to Cedric, big him up, but respectfully to Cedric, there's been times Cedric's been the only fit defender on the bench. When everybody's fit, I think we've got some very good options. You've got Benjamin White, you've got Tomiyasu, Kyrgios showing what he can do. Obviously, we know he's a centre half, plays left back. Say what you want about Zinchenko, he's in the mix. And have I said Timber when Timber's back as well? I do think we need one more defensive option, just because in reality, Tomiyasu and Timber, Timber's injured, but Tomiyasu and Zinchenko, they pick up a lot of knocks. I think we need another defensive body, and obviously big up Raya because he's part of that as well, really. And the last 2 years, clearly under Mikel Arteta, there's been a big emphasis on defending better. And what I like as well in the last 2 years, on top of that, Arteta can want to defend and be the best defensive side he wants, really. But the players have got to want it. And at times at this football club, even under Arteta with certain players, it seemed like the players are more keen to do the attacking stuff, but the dots, they're the things that you have to do. That's the discipline. And I have liked that. I have liked how we got to grips with both sides of the set pieces, dead balls. We're a bit more... We don't get barged around, really. And it's obviously a lot of that is due to physicality, but I think it's mentality, In previously, you go back to the Brentford game, in previous years, we would have drew that 1-1. And Ramsdale's mistake, and it still was, to be fair, would have been what was highlighted. But we're getting on with things. We're kind of understanding it, really. Kyrgios really impressed me last night. Let's not forget he's a centre-back playing out of position as well. And you're right. But for Kyrgios, I think for one thing Kyrgios is going to have to do, he's going to have to improve in wide areas, whether he plays centre-half or not. Again, assuming, let's just say Gabriel's form, God forbid, fell off a cliff and he got dropped, and you're slapping Kyrgios left centre-back. When in build-up playing all them things there, Gabriel, he pulls out wide. So you're going to have to be able to do that. Do people actually know we won the game 1-0 and won the tie? We beat the nasty football, their tactics, full stop. DG, we need a Champions League draw. Watch along. When is that? Because you'll get that, man. He's crying, Wolf. Let him cry, man. Playground antics in the Champions League. Love to see it, Fish. You're right, man. You're right. What do you think of Ivan Nilsson? I don't watch him enough I don't watch Portuguese League like that. I don't watch him enough to really and truly have an informed opinion. But from the highlights and the little things, I know he looks all right. Yesterday, obviously, if you was trying to sign him or scouts were watching him, there's nothing to say about him, really. And like what Social Join said, I really like the fact of we did beat them at their ugly tactics. I feel their tactics worked because we didn't score 3-4 and they frustrated us. And I think the ball was actually only in play for about 60 odd minutes. So them things worked, but we found a way to make it happen. And that's what's going to happen. I do think with us Arsenal fans, we do sit here a lot of the time and go, oh, the opposition don't want to play football. And you're right. We're Arsenal. We want you to play football and try and play us off the park if you're going to be better than us. But it's stupid to expect teams to do that. Why would put yourself in their shoes? Porto can't play football like us. So why would you set up and try to go toe-to-toe at that? You're going to get annihilated. They tried to box smart. It didn't work, man. Arteta insulted his tactics. Insult him again. Mentality of Raya saying he wants to win both the league and champ shows where we are at mentally at the moment. I like that, really. Anyone that says anything less, come out the football club, really and truly. Is it unlikely we win either? Definitely both. In my opinion, yes. But as long as we've got an opportunity, go and do that, man. It was like an old school tie. Porto overhyped themselves. No wonder they wanted to fight when they lost. And the thing with Porto is they had no plan B in it, really. They were. I do think it was a bit naive to not expect us to score at the Emirates, but they had no plan B. They're going to stink out the joint, try and frustrate us. The more the game goes on, we're going to have to be a bit more adventurous and maybe get a bit frustrated. And in life, like in football, obviously, if you're doing a task, some of you are sat at your desk. When you're frustrated or not in a headspace, you're going to make mistakes and capitalize on that. They had no plan B, of course. Porto have some very good players, you know, the left winger, Galando. He missed his penalty, but he's a decent player. But they had no plan B, really. They were just trying to frustrate us. They were trying to do almost the impossible. Like, I could be wrong, but when was the last time we never scored in a game? Genuinely, when was the last time we never scored in a game this season? Has there? There has to have been. But the very fact that I'm asking you, look, I'm scratching, man. I couldn't tell you the last time Arsenal played a 0-0, we didn't score. Well, I'm lying. We didn't score against Porto, but you get the point. We didn't in the first leg. But yeah, there's not too many times. And to be fair with you, really and truly, there shouldn't have been penalties and extra time if we're honest with ourselves. You know, if that mishap doesn't happen in the first leg, we're doing this in normal time. And to be brutally honest, I don't care what anyone says, man. Odegaard's goal should have stood. It'd be nice to see Timber back. Only team in the Champions League that's conceded 0 goals at home. Long may that continue, but that record's probably going to be broken soon, man. Kai is a king of dark arts. There was an interview with him and Saka where he spoke about playing low to win high, as you should be doing. You know, nice guys finish last, and we are obviously nice humans, but we've got to be cunts. Pardon my French. You know, you look at the Invincibles; they were nice guys. They'll help your granny across the road. They'll help people with the shopping. Well, they weren't nice. Any team that's won anything, they've had that capacity to be ugly. Any top sportsman has that capacity to be ugly. Nice guys, unfortunately, finished last. When I saw Havertz in the first game against Forest, he did well. I saw enough to see he won't be crap for us. His dark arts keeping the game simple and keeping the ball be useful for us. Long may it continue with Kai, man, and everyone else. And their tactics in many ways worked, but it didn't work because they didn't show the bottle. And to be fair with you, you could argue it did work because had the penalties have gone a different way, we might be saying something else. But fortunately, we're not. Friday. Okay. All right. There'll be appreciate that, Paul. All right. Well, Friday, join me. I'll say 11:50 a.m. Then 10 minutes before it kicks off, we'll do a Champions League draw for that. Probably, well, to be fair, if we do it on Twitch, we can watch it together. But if we do it on YouTube, I can't pull it on screen, copyright and that. Let's hope Atletico don't go through or we'll face the same again if we get them. We need to be comfortable, man, to stand out in that team. Kirill is doing it. Shout out to Kirill, man. Every player is standing up to be counted. And I want Arteta to have headaches, you know. Again, Tomiyasu's coming back to fitness. Say what you want about Zinchenko. He's coming back to fitness. Kirill's doing well. I want Arteta, you know, yesterday, I'm sure it was a fantastic night when the kids went to sleep. I'm sure his wife wanted to do what a man and a woman that love each other do. I wanted to say, no, I can't get aroused because I'm thinking, should Kirill play? Should this happen? Should that happen? We want good questions, and that's fine. That's a lovely thing about Arsenal on that as well. We're finally having good questions about things, man. You know, we've come a long way from, you remember we had players where they were like, for instance, 2 right backs would be crap and we'll just pick the lesser of the evils and whichever one would play, would cry about the one on the bench. We've come a long way. DG, ESPN are reporting Barcelona are willing to let Ronald Araujo leave. Would you take him? I would, because he can play right back, you know, and that will keep Saliba on his toes. Okay, West Ham, West Ham at the Emirates, yeah. But there's not too many times. But Porto, West Ham, as you lot said, there's probably a next one, but you just scratch your head. I want Atletico to be Inter really good this season. I mean, we just have to relish it. You know, the good thing and the bad thing is the teams are only going to get better. And I'm a bit, I don't know if I'm just being scared. I'm just being scared, but it's the away games that make the difference for me. At the Emirates, I'm not saying we can beat everyone because we haven't beaten everyone at the Emirates this season, but I'm relatively confident it's the away games. And I don't think we lost the Porto game because of the atmosphere and stuff, but fundamentally away from home, we made it difficult for ourselves. And, you know, if you got San Siro, Real Madrid or Atletico away, so on and so forth, these are some nervy places to go, man, if I'm honest. Newcastle, West Ham, Aston Villa, Liverpool, FA Cup, Porto. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right, man. DG, we should scout Alan Varela, the Porto midfielder. He's a decent midfielder, but apparently there were scouts watching him at the Emirates. I don't know if he played. I didn't see him yesterday. I don't think there'll be too many scouting notes, if I'm honest. Who would you want us to avoid in the draw? I'm getting the feeling we're going to get the winner of Inter and Atletico. I mean, can we draw English teams at this moment? I mean, naturally, I just don't want to play Real Madrid or City at any given moment. I wouldn't want to play Inter Milan yet. Barca are through in it. I want Barcelona, man. I want Barcelona. I want to do what Frankfurt did to them in the Europa League a few years ago. I absolutely want us to demolish the Nou Camp, really and truly. Shout out the Kenyans, man. Dark Times, Bellerin versus Cedric. I'm 25 minutes behind. No worries, man. Appreciate you, Water, man. So yeah, there's been a handful of times we haven't bagged. Typically. Last season, Partey and Jesus would have been starting games like this. In another world, they might be. They might be. You know, I wouldn't rule them out. Right now, the team is picking itself because of on form, but I wouldn't rule them out. A fit Thomas Partey, we might not have seen a Jorginho brought in and doing what he's doing in the last few games. A fit Gabriel Jesus, potentially, we may not have seen Kai Havertz up front on a regular basis. But this is why you need a squad, and I'm happy to see these players back. And this time next year, I mean, for me, Mikel Arteta, I need you to stop coming out with comments saying we've got the finished squad or one of the finished squads. I know we do, but that one day has to kind of be eradicated now, man. If we could just keep doing what we're doing, address 1-2 areas in the transfer market, there's something special, people, at the Emirates. There's something we could do. DJ, I love that. We're in a position that doesn't require us to be rushing players back from injury. Amen. How many times in previous years we rush a man back, get injured? You could have been out for 2 games. Now you're out for the season. And this season, I have more confidence in our ability to cope with injuries because we've been doing it since August, really and truly. But, you know, you look at how last season ended with Saliba coming out for Rob Holding. I do think it's a bit disingenuous to just say Holding came in and we didn't win the league because of that. Naturally, we had to change our tactics and whatnot. But when you look at the games Holding actually played, he was not the worst player on the pitch, and there was many other things. And then obviously Kirill came in and did his thing, but it was too little. By the time Kirill got a run in the team, it was probably too little, too late. But if that happens this year, do we have the depth? I don't know, but I'm a lot more confident in that regards. Do you still want to see the preseason midfield we all thought of Rice, Partey and Odegaard? At some point, yeah, but it's all reliant on Thomas Partey getting fit, getting up to speed and staying fit, essentially. Inter can get beaten too. Everyone can beat everybody. Everybody's here, really. You know, we did well against Porto, and I'm overselling it, but it was in the balance, really and truly. DG, you worried that we aren't playing for 2 weeks? Yes and no. It's nice to be able to breathe. It's nice to, you know, I'm sure Arteta, being a manager, has got to be difficult because I'm sure there's things that he would like to work on generally with his team, but you can't necessarily put that as a priority because you're focused on the opposition and what you need to do to keep ticking over. So maybe he has an opportunity to do that. Obviously, a week or 2 off means that the injured players, they can get up to speed. And I would also say, no, I would also counteract that because naturally with our form, you would love to just be playing. You would have loved for the Chelsea game to be played, and you probably would have loved to have played City. But then I could also say, based on the fact that we had an extra half an hour, and I know there's a lot of days rest, but imagine we played City on the Saturday or the Sunday, whatever. And obviously we've played, 90 minutes plus added time on Tuesday. Wednesday will be a recovery session. Thursday is what it is. So, I think it is good that we've got that little rest, man. But it does take a bit of momentum out, if I'm honest. I don't think whoever will get next will play for penalties against us, that's for sure. Partey is the most gifted piece of glass I've ever seen. Arsenal low-key won the lottery / just imagine the meltdown if Arsenal would have lost that penalty shootout. The amount of rival fan content creators, journalists, Sky Sports, do you know how much show ideas and articles got deleted? I mean, you know, when we do have that inevitable blip on the road, they'll be back talking their stuff and saying their nonsense. But at least for 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever, they can leave us alone. Anyone but City wants some new ties to look forward to. You know what? Just give us the best teams, man. You know, by God's grace, if we play the best teams, we eliminate them, then in theory, it should get easier. I want PSV, Dortmund or Barca. I want Barca for revenge. I mean, I'm having PSV, I'm having Dortmund. Even Dortmund away is difficult as well, really and truly. I'm not against PSV, Dortmund, PSG, or Barcelona. Do you know what? Luis Enrique is a certified manager. But out of all the bigger teams, the household names, the European teams that we'd sit here and say they're big teams, I don't want to play Real Madrid, obviously. I wouldn't want to play City 100%. I'd relish playing Inter Milan, but it's Inter Milan. No one wants to play them. PSG is not a walk in the park, but again, they just look like a bunch of stars, Kylian Mbappe stuff. I reckon over 2 legs, we could give them a game. Barcelona, I think we could move to them over 2 legs, provided they're not paying off referees. And you look at the last 2 games in the Champions League, I'm not sure how that would go. Bayern Munich look gettable as well, if I'm honest with you. So out of the bigger teams, I'd rather them, if I'm honest. Oops, sorry, we're doing a hate along and we demolished them. Amen. They came in extra hard when Arsenal lost. Amen, man. I would have been off socials for a week if we lost. Good for you, last. I have to come out here and make videos, man, and act like everything's rosy. I hope Partey can play against City, although Jorginho has been good. Partey physically is better and can provide the passes Jorginho can. I don't think he can do them on a consistent basis like Jorginho, because that's more his bread and butter, but I do agree generally. And it's different options. Obviously, right now, the team is picking itself. It's doing what needs to be done, but we need different options, because at some point, we're not going to win a game with the same 11 and Arteta is going to have to change things. We need a squad. Think about it, people. A week is a long time in football. We've played 28 game weeks in the Premier League. Think about the different heroes and villains. And this guy was great that week, and this guy was the villain last week, etc., etc. Even Bukayo Saka. Saka's been great this season. But I still remember the mistake against Fulham. And there's several others, really and truly. This is why you need a squad. I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I watch 3 hours of Arsenal as another club fan. To be fair, I watch all football, man. All the other clubs are probably thinking they don't want to play us, to be honest. Should be, man. I think everybody should relish everybody. Everybody's here, because they deserve it. Anyone on the given day, excluding the refs, might be able to do something. So, yeah, man, I just think we should enjoy the competition, see what Friday's draw has to say for us, people, and take it all from there. If you haven't subscribed or smashed the like button, make sure you're doing such. So, yeah, people, let's see exactly what's being said in the papers and all of that sort of stuff. First things first, we've got Mikel Arteta. Allegedly, Arsenal have denied Mikel Arteta insulted the Porto manager's family after the dramatic shootout, people. During the game, Arteta turned to the bench, and in Spanish, it must be a Spanish coach thing, because it was the same thing with Pep Guardiola. He insulted my family. In the end, I told him to pay attention because who he insulted is no longer with us. Damn, RIP. But again, no one can verify any of this, and to worry about coaching his team, because due to individual quality, he has an obligation to do more and better. Arsenal sources have denied that. Arteta's come out and not had any comments. They're just trying to add, they're trying to pour water over our fire, man, really and truly. I mean, maybe Arteta said it, emotions and that. Maybe he didn't. I'll be honest. I don't really care. RIP any dead ones, and we don't condone that. But I mean, you can see the tweet in it. Let's see what Mikel Arteta has said. On winning on penalties, magic, what we expected, a really tough opponent, really well organized, very difficult to generate constant momentum in the game in the way they play. And that's credit to them, which is true. We did it. We scored a beautiful goal. They insisted in different ways in the way the game allowed us as well. And it's such a huge experience for us. We had to do it at the end with penalties. We were prepared well. Credit to the coaches as well for the way they did. So, yeah, big up the goalkeeping coach as well. I'm sure him and David Raya at some point in the build-up to this game probably studied Porto's penalties and scenarios and things. And obviously, I think Arteta said that the players actually missed in training the penalties, so it was all right there. When we was watching the game, I don't know why, people, but I just had this thought that Eddie Nketiah is going to take a penalty. I don't know why. I don't know why I mentioned that, but I did. Obviously, for David Raya, he had some difficult moments to start, but he stood up, had an incredible personality and ambition, and at the end, he got rewarded for his moment. To be fair, Arteta, I slightly disagree. Maybe I'm taking things out of context, but I don't think David Raya had a difficult start. I think his passing was spot on. In the first half, I think he was called into action for at least 2 big saves, which I wanted to see from Costa. I think he did well. I think David Raya, away from the penalties, was probably one of the better players. I would say if I had to highlight individuals, I'd say in no order. Obviously, big up Trossard for getting the goal, but I would say David Raya, Kai Havertz, Martin Odegaard. I think Gabriel did well as well. I'm probably missing out someone I said earlier, but I would highlight those individuals. On the impact tonight's result can have on the squad, it should make you hungry for more. Imagine what it feels like to win this. Imagine what it feels like, because some of you lot have been part of this club where we've taken a lot of L's and there's been a lot of disappointments, especially in Europe, in the last couple of years. So imagine the flip side. But he said, for what it's worth, for them to do it when the club hasn't managed to do it for 14 years, imagine there's a 14-year-old Arsenal supporting little boy or little girl. That's the first time they've seen us in the knockout rounds or such. It's crazy. It's like I'm 28. I'm quite lucky. I kind of came into this world when Arsenal were lit and then we fell off. But it's like there's Arsenal fans out there that have never seen us win the Premier League. And as much take nothing away from Arteta, this is the best some people have seen Arsenal Football Club. So let's create some more memories, man. Anyways, it tells you the difficulty of it. When the margins are so small, we found a way to do it again. I see how much they want it and how much they tried. They are able to sacrifice anything to win. And when you play like this, at the end, it's going to come your way sooner or later. And it happened tonight. Obviously, we know the atmosphere was amazing. He said we play to win. Arteta said we always play to win. If not, I don't know how you are top of the league. In the Premier League, is the best league in the world. I don't look at the league table. I'm going to take Arteta's word for that, but I think that's a bit of sneak dissing when certain managers said they came to play, we came to win. This is why you don't talk until the job's done. Obviously, big up the penalties as well, people. On whether he was comfortable, going into penalties. No, because practicing in the training ground, a few of them missed, by the way, yesterday, not today. We prepare everything, extra time, scenarios, changes, how the players have to drink and eat and all that. And in the end, you have to do it in the game, and to replicate the scenarios is really difficult. Total credit to the boys stepping up with maturity, with that confidence they delivered. Amen, man. All the penalties were lit. Saka's penalty, I was the most scared for Saka's penalty, but I'd say that was probably the most convincing. He did say on David Raya, I don't have to see him today. I was very convinced that was going to be the case. You see in the first few days here and what he had to go through, and he did that with that composure. You look at his body language and the position that he takes, he doesn't get affected, and that's a key quality for a goalkeeper. Now, I'm not trying to throw shade at Aaron Ramsdale, and I can't remember all the comments, but David Raya had a post-game interview, and the way he was speaking about being focused and his hunger, no disrespect, Ramsdale, but you weren't really talking like that. I'm not saying you're not a top professional in that, but you weren't really talking like that. So big up Raya. On his learnings from the two legs, having experience. I haven't done it before, as you said. It's the first time I've done anything in the Champions League, and try to learn every single day. You get advice. That's why you have great coaches around you, great people as well to help you and make you better. On Odegaard's disallowed goal, I haven't seen the replay live. I could not understand, but if he made that decision, maybe there was something. I'm sure we are not going to remember that. We're going to remember that we did it in a special way. Facts. On how far ahead we can start to look after this result, it's still very far. And now when I sit at home, I'm going to look at the teams who we have to play, and you start another big mountain to climb. Amen. He then said that's the way we have to look at it right now. If you are out, you think one less competition, we can focus on the league, more time to prepare for games. But now the energy that it brings amongst the squad, amongst the club, it is very powerful. And then he said, really, really happy. Obviously, we want more. Let's wait on who we have to play again. And then once again, he said no comment on the post-game shenanigans about dissing family members and all of that kind of jazz. Big up David Raya. He has spoken. He said, it's an incredible feeling after everything we've done. We weren't happy with the result over there and getting the result here. And we scored the goal that we needed to have the chance. I think we could have scored a few more, but credit to Porto as well. They played a really good game. They played their game and made things very difficult for us. But in the end, it went down to penalties and the players did their part, scored the goals, and I was lucky enough to save two. I think it's one of the biggest moments in my career, my whole career. I put it up there, and hopefully there's many more to come, and we hope the same, man. He then said, people, the fans have been fantastic. They've been fantastic for a long time, especially today. We needed them. They made some noise and got us through spells in which we needed them. They were there for us and we were there for them, and that's what you want to hear. We had the fans behind our goal as well. That put a lot of pressure on them, and that worked for us. I think that helped us to win the penalty shootout. I think this win is going to give us a big push and give us some experience and some learnings. We need to learn a lot of things as well. I thought we managed the game very well in the end, which we didn't do over there. So we'll learn from that and take the positives and learn from the negatives as well. Shout out to him. Odegaard has also spoken as well, people. He said, I think we have to use this. It's a massive night for everyone. We're still a young squad, but this was another big experience for everyone. We have to keep building on that and use it in a good way going into the end of the season. I think it's a massive boost for everyone. The way we did it, it maybe wasn't the best game, but you just saw everyone pushing so hard, digging so deep. And I think you saw the mentality in the team when we stepped up for the penalties. I am really proud of everyone. Big up the captain. You led by example, and shout to everyone else involved. What cartoon is that? Oh, sorry, people, I'm scrolling. He then said on the topic of who we could potentially face, Real Madrid, Barcelona, City, PSG, Bayern Munich are still there. We can't think like that. It's the biggest tournament in the world. No matter what team we get, it's going to be a good team. We'll just take what we get and we'll try to win. We want to be on the biggest stage. We want to play the biggest games and fight for the biggest trophy. So yeah, that comes with the territory, people. Apparently, Inaki Kanya and David Raya, and also apparently Aaron Ramsdale was hiding notes. Apparently, people, we was doing some funny stuff where it came to the penalties. So it's nice to see we're doing our homework. Really, I'm not going to read that, but it's nice to see. What has he said? What Saka said here? If I had to choose, Saka makes preference clear on Premier League or Champions League triumph. What did you say? Well, he isn't going to let me say both. If I had to choose this season, I would say Premier League, but I want both. Saka, I disagree. I hear it. Why you'd want to win the Prem, but there's nothing better than the Champions League, man. It's like having the greatest misses ever, and then Kelly Rowland wants to take you on a date. I really shouldn't say that, but yeah, we're top of the league and into the next round of the Champions League, so everyone is so happy. Shout out to you. In terms of transfer news, you already know this, but Arsenal are ready to listen to offers for left-back Kieran Tierney in the summer transfer window. Sources have told Football Insider. The 26-year-old has been out on loan at La Liga club Real Sociedad this campaign. He struggled to nail down a place in Arteta's lineup in recent seasons and was allowed to obviously depart last summer. He has 2 years left on his deal. Zinchenko, 1 minute he's not leaving, then he's leaving. We don't know. I personally think he's going to get a new deal, but he's also been linked with a move to Newcastle and or Bayern Munich. So that's where Kieran Tierney is concerned. Apparently Spurs have been given the green light to go after Serge Gnabry. Bring Gnabry home, but the man can't stay fit. I like Gnabry, but is it a thing where the idea of Serge Gnabry at Arsenal, the player that he is now, the idea of him versus what he'd actually be at Arsenal, take nothing away from his quality, are those two different things? I'm starting to believe such. What's this? Arsenal informed Star he's free to leave just 18 months after giving him a new contract. Allegedly, Arsenal reportedly told Eddie Nketiah that he's free to find a new club less than 2 years after signing a new contract at the Emirates Stadium. I mean, unfortunately for the 24-year-old who's only made 10 league starts this season, that might be music to some people in the chat's ears. Eddie Nketiah has been told he's free to leave in the summer after being deemed surplus to requirements. I mean, situations can change. Kai Havertz might be dropped to the bench for whatever reason. Jesus and Trossard might get injured. Eddie might get a run in the side, and sentiment and things can change. But you'd imagine, Trossard's a better option up there. I'd argue with some training, Martinelli as well. Kai Havertz is more effective up there, and we all need another striker. Eddie Nketiah can leave with his head held high. He's progressed from the academy, wearing the number 14, scored some goals for the club, but it's just the levels in this. You're not levels, really and truly. If you're not scoring goals, you're not really the guy like that. Like all the names I said, even Kai Havertz, like they can do the 2-touch, 1-touch, 3-touch max. Eddie needs 3, 4, 5 touches. Arsenal reportedly willing to part ways with Nketiah earlier this year, but a move did not materialize due to a lack of suitable replacements on the market. However, they are said to have prioritized the addition of a new striker in the summer, opening the door for Eddie Nketiah to leave for pastures new, people. So we'd have to see. Apparently, Eddie would prefer to stay and fight for his place at Arsenal. Would have to see, really and truly. It does look like we're moving away from Ivan Toney. Those links have kind of gone quiet, people. So we'll have to see exactly what's being said there. Keeping up the theme with strikers, the Sporting Lisbon lad Viktor Gyokeres, forgive me for mispronunciation, allegedly he's our number one target, people. Apparently he's on the agenda. Apparently Ivan Toney is admired, but we're moving away from such. The more I look at the 25-year-old Sporting lad, the more I like him. And I don't think Arteta wants an out-and-out forward. I think he wants... Obviously, Kai Havertz plays in midfield, so it's not the best of examples, but like Trossard can play all across the front three. Havertz can play in a couple of roles. I think if we can get another man that can get a decent amount of goals and they can play on the left up front or on the right, I think I'm starting to believe that's what we're doing now. And it probably comes down to the fee, man, because he just signed for Sporting for 24 million euros. You'd imagine they want to make a decent profit. Coventry, his former club, are due 15%. I don't think Arsenal are going to be paying 100 million euros for him or 85.5 million quid. Arsenal have shown their willingness to flex their muscles, but I think if it's quote unquote affordable, it'll get done. If not, it's a myth. So yeah, I don't think we'll pay his release clause, but you never know in this world, people, essentially. Oh, as it froze. I can't lie, I should get onto my header. This is horrible, man. It's frozen, people. What's going on there? Oh, we're back now. Reece Nelson's been linked with Brighton once again. Reece Nelson has emerged as a top summer target for Brighton, given his lack of football at Arsenal under Mikel Arteta. As you know, 24 years of age. Could it be argued he needs to go? I don't know if he'll actually start at Brighton, but could it be argued you need to go somewhere where you're going to play on a consistent basis? He's played only 656 minutes across 23 appearances in all comps this season. He has had some injuries. Apparently, Nelson is open to an exit and the opportunity to be a key player for a club. With this information, giving Brighton hope of completing a deal in the summer window. He can leave for 30 million. To be fair, 30 million, a sell-on clause for a player that I like. Nelson, I think he's a good option. I think there's times he could have played a lot more. Can anyone really and truly complain about that? 30 million quid? I think disappearing act there, folks. I'm back. That was scary. Apologies. What happened there, man? Someone don't want me to shine. And why isn't this? Everything's just freezing now. Apologies, people. They're mashing up the show. We're having a great show. My guy has vanished once again. Apologies, folks. StreamYard this must be a StreamYard problem. It's not. I mean, the Reece Nelson thing was the last bit of news we had, I believe. So it's not. StreamYard's not actually letting me share my screen anymore. Okay. That's annoying, but the show must go on, people. Paul Kobasi? That's the young lad that's recently made his debut at Barcelona. He's been linked with Arsenal. Again, young player goes into a first team, plays football, probably wanting to sign a new contract. Then he's linked with big clubs. I don't really buy the rumors of that, but you can if you want. Diamonde is a man in high regards. Apparently, Newcastle, Arsenal, Manchester City, Manchester United, and Chelsea are all following the Sporting Lisbon 20-year-old Ivorian international. Who's this? Arsenal and United have been issued a hands-off warning over Zertsky ahead of the summer. So we'll have to see that, man. Damn, DG, that's a lot of tabs. Oh, you pick up the different knock, man. But you're moving like Alex, man. Thought I ghosted you. Never, man. Never. I'm back. Shout out them. I'm back. Like Gyokeres, yes. Big release clause, though. I don't think Arsenal are going to spend that, man. Get Gyokeres in. The numbers don't lie. He's a bagsman. Great fit for us. I think Eddie's gone. Yeah, he's basically behind Trossard and Havertz. Things can change, but you're not the man of the moment. Like, to be honest, football's weird because you don't see Eddie Nketiah for ages, and then he comes on in the knockout stage of a tie. So you never know, but if we sign another striker, you've got Gabriel Jesus, you've got Trossard, you've got Havertz. Just go get the money, man. I think he meant he had a difficult start at the beginning of the season. In hindsight, though, did David Raya have a difficult start? I know, obviously, Mudryk, mistake there. There's been a couple of goals that Raya could have done better, but I think it was blown all out of proportion because of the whole David Raya Ramsdale thing. Obviously, even against City, he was a bit shaky. I watched Madrid struggle against Copenhagen. Don't see why everyone's afraid of them. I think that'd be naive. Had Porto won, that wouldn't have been in the conversation. Amen. This guy is waffling. Boy who cried wolf stuff. He said this about other managers after losing games, deflecting all over the place. No accountability for losing with those anti-football tactics. What can we say? We came to win. He came to wine. Trust. It's not carnival yet. He's got to wait till August, man. Quarterfinal will be different unless we get Atletico Inter. The other teams in the draw will try and come at Arsenal. That's where we can use the movement of Trossard, Saka, Martinelli, and Jesus. Not going to lie, Chelsea reaching the FA Cup quarterfinals may have helped us out. Now we haven't got a game for 2 weeks. I hear it, man, but we've got to play them at some point, and the season's going to get clustered at some point, man. So we're just going to have to get on with it. Yeah, man, StreamYard don't want us to shine. It could be the Porto fans. Did you see we secured around 90 million in prize money for advancing? Well, again, when you play in an elite European competition, you get more money. Hopefully, that can be distributed to whatever areas of the club that's required. The more money we get, the better players we can sign and the more improvements we can make across every aspect of this football club, man, really and truly. Diamande is a myth, sadly. I can't see us putting down the money for him. To be honest, I think Sesko or Tony may be the people we get and could be good options on the cheap. Tony ain't going to be cheap, is he, though? Imagine Mikel was in a conversation with Pep, Tuchel, Ancelotti, Enrique, and like we used to pray for times like this. Yeah, we did, but we haven't achieved anything yet, man. We need to keep going, man. And it is lovely, though, as you said. I think the fan base in the areas comment about subbing goalkeepers, but still, I do think Arteta well, to be honest, I wouldn't even, someone as smart as him, I don't think he'd underestimate it, but I think he kind of underestimated the snowball effect this whole Raya Ramsdale thing would happen. And it's not been fair to Ramsdale, it's not been fair to Raya, it's not been fair to the fans, and it's not been fair to Arteta. But unfortunately for Ramsdale, unfortunately for Raya, the jury's still out because it's out on every player, and it's a bit disrespectful to say to Ramsdale, but nobody cares. Like, Raya's showing his quality. It is what it is, man. The collective comes first. Shout out Kirill. Eddie has been a decent squad player. He's never been the man of the moment. He's bits, but not consistently to be the man. And to be honest, sometimes we do hold on to players past their sell-by date. I love Reece Nelson. I don't really want to move him on, but you could argue Nelson and Ketia, the where we want to go, you can't necessarily be here. The only thing that probably saves them is we can't sell all three of them and Smith Rowe and whatnot, because we need to pay attention to the homegrown stuff, really. Tony ain't coming at Arsenal. I don't think the team or hierarchy in the club like him, but in my opinion, I hope we get him. I wouldn't be against Tony. He's not my first choice, but who knows, man. But with that being said, people, just under an hour of content with you lot. I appreciate you lot's talking points, etc., etc. Just because StreamYard is acting and it's making me a bit nervous, before we see any shenanigans, I'm going to lock this off and obviously get to the bottom of this, really and truly, folks. Again, 3:30, so just over an hour. I did a tactical analysis on the game. Again, smash the like button on such. Appreciative of you lot being tuned in. Before I get out of it, any idea where Mbappe is going? Probably Real Madrid. We always smash the like button as we kick down the door into DG Nation Convo. Els, appreciate that. I would love a revenge tour of Barca and Bayern. DG, predict the transfer merry-go-round from Tony, Osimhen, Gyokeres, Sesko. Tony to Spurs, Osimhen Chelsea, Gyokeres to stay at Sporting, Sesko to stay at his club, and Arsenal to get someone that we've never heard of, people, that will make the difference. But yeah, man, smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't. Appreciative of you lot joining me, people. Hopefully the good times can continue, regardless of if Arsenal are playing or not. You know there'll be videos and content. So yeah, on that note, peace.
Against this right back, Charlie.
There's always just that active red light defending. I think it's like